Fire Emblem 5 is kind of like Final Fantasy 9, where not many people in the online fandom play it and talk about it, but those that do swear it's the best game ever made. And you go, alright, sure, let me try this for myself. And then after playing it, you're like, man, they weren't kidding. That early 2000s JRPG really is fundamentally life-changing.
There is no meme. This is just a threat.
As a general rule, map design is something that Fire Emblem handles really well. Even in the games with the flimsiest map design, there's usually a few standout ones that really grind the gears of your brain and are fun to go through. And in the games where the map design is consistently amazing, well, that's all the better. Which one has the best map design is something that can be argued about until the end of time. A lot of people will tell you Thracia, a lot of people will tell you Conquest, a lot of people will tell you Engage, some sick bastards will be in the back and yell that Disturbance in Augustria is peak. It can go on for hours. But the one that has my favorite map, singular, has to be Thracia and its Chapter 14, Open Fire. It's arguably one of the harder maps in the entire series, but not in a way that feels bullshit unfair. Its risk-reward is really great, and I just think it deserves more appreciation. So before we get in, I just want to make sure you know that this is just my opinion. So naturally, that means it matters more than your opinion, and that if you disagree, you are the one who is factually incorrect. So what exactly is Open Fire? Well, it's a defend map, where you have to defend a one-tile large gate for 10 turns against a never-ending stream of powerful reinforcements. Big, bulky armor knights that deal a shit ton of damage and are very difficult to kill are combined with various mages to make it very difficult for you to hold any one point. On top of that, there are 4 different access points into the enclosed city that you're fighting in. So you have to manage a ton of different points, and if even one of them starts to fall, the rest of your army is quickly going to be in shambles. On top of that, there are ballista positioned outside that can make mincemeat of anyone who's actually trying to leave the city, again, making it really hard to defend. And as if things aren't dire enough, this map introduces green units who are actually just as likely to kill you as kill themselves. These aren't your average green units that just exist to die to the enemies. These green units will attack anything near them, friend or foe alike. So you have to worry about Wyvern Riders coming in and raining hellfire on you. And on top of that, a bunch of powerful, bulky dark mages also show up on this map, and due to the fact that almost no one in Thracia knows what a resistance stat is, they can deal all of your unit's health in damn near a single attack. On top of the constant reinforcements, the enemies that are just on the map from the start are equally as deadly. You have a boss gunning down your neck immediately who's an armored general with a bunch of dangerous weapons and stats, and you also have about 20 armor knights immediately beating down you before any more of them show up. So needless to say, surviving those 10 turns is very difficult. But it is a defend map, and defend maps are very easy for this series to screw up, but Open Fire manages to avoid pretty much every pitfall defend maps usually fall into. For example, a lot of defend maps in the series can kind of just be considered kill the boss maps in glorified coats of paint. You don't really have to worry about defending the point if you just find the boss and kill him to end the chapter. For example, Alincia's Gambit from Radiant Dawn could honestly be one of the greatest maps in any strategy RPG ever made, if it weren't for the fact that it can be ended in like 2 turns, because the boss Ludwig is sitting in the bottom of the map, looking very submissive and killable. It's easy to explain how Open Fire avoids this pitfall. Killing the bosses on the map, and I say bosses plural, there are 3 of them, doesn't end the map. If you kill the boss, you're still surviving until 10 turns pass. Simple, but easy to not fall into that trap. Also, a lot of Defend Maps gameplay can just be hitting end turn over and over and over again without thinking, and Open Fire avoids this in a few ways. One, it gives you enough reinforcements that you have to worry about things. You can't just mindlessly hit end turn because there are only like 3 dudes left on the map because you've turned it into a route map. Not only are the enemies on the field strong enough that you can't kill them that easily, the reinforcements also happen on virtually every turn of the map. There's no point where you can just turn your brain off and let Jesus take the wheel. You have to drive for yourself. And with all of this difficulty in mind, it never really feels unfair. You see every turn where things are coming at you from. You have time to react to everything, and you can see exactly what you need to do. On top of that, the turn count of the map actually plays to its benefit, because at the end of the day, it is only 10 turns. So if you screw up on turn 4, you really aren't losing that much progress when you have to reset. Every time a unit dies and you need to take things from the beginning again, it's a puzzle. You can see, okay, I put Dagdar to the left, but looking at how things shaped out, I might have wanted him on the bottom right, and every little change you make can help you see how you'll get to 10 turns. It's very well designed, and it's in a way that feels really satisfying when you can finally hit end turn for the final time. But what if you're a sick fuck who's a glutton for punishment? What if you don't just want to survive this map, you want all of the goodies that it has to offer? Well, of course, Onslaught has a ton of side objectives. The easiest to explain are the 2 houses located in the bottom left and right corners of the map that have a very rare and very powerful Nosferatu tome, which just so happens to be incredibly useful in the hands of a unit you get on Open Fire and in the map after Open Fire, and it has a personal weapon for one of the best units in the game, Dean. So it's very worth your while to go out. But even if you're not sending any units outside of the castle walls, you still have some side objectives. There's a new unit named Homer who can easily become one of the most powerful sages in the game that you need to recruit with one specific unit. Not too bad, it's just a matter of on the first turn running over to him and visiting his house, but on top of that, there are numerous other open houses on the map that need to be visited. For every one that you visit, you get nothing on Open Fire itself, but getting 3 or more of them will trigger the guided map next chapter, and for every house you visit, it creates another green unit on that map, and those green units get you stamina drinks, incredibly powerful items that let you completely ignore the stamina mechanic and deploy Marita in every single map of the game. But every turn you have a unit visit one of those houses is a turn that unit isn't actually helping defend the map. So it's a big risk-reward to see whose turns you can afford to waste and whose you need to spend on guard duty. And on top of everything unique to Open Fire, you also have to remember Thracia's capture mechanic that allows a unit to rescue an enemy and steal all of their things if they defeat them in a penalized combat scenario. If you want to risk having a harder time killing any enemy, you can steal anything that enemies have, including their useful tomes and staves, and even the weapons of the bosses, if you just want to run that gamble yourself. Open Fire is hard enough as it is, but it gives you plenty of chances to shoot yourself in the foot because of your own greed. And personally, I think it's wonderful for that. But of course, not only is it an amazing map to play, it is an amazing map for the story of FE5. FE5 is a midquel to FE4, taking place about the same time as Chapter 6 and bleeding into the game's Chapter 8. And like any game that takes place during or before another game, they know that you have knowledge of what's going to happen. FE5 knows that you know Leaf's quest ends in failure. So Open Fire takes advantage of that by showing you just how out of his league Leaf really is. Not only does he have the forces of Bloom breathing down his neck, he also has the forces of Travant breathing down his neck, and the forces of Manfroy breathing down his neck. He is so hopelessly outclassed by everything around him, and the player can feel that. It's one thing if the game has a cutscene that says, "Sir, they're fucking our pussies," but you can much more easily understand it by actually getting your pussy fucked, which is what Open Fire does to you constantly. Open Fire is the highlight to me every time I replay Thracia. It's difficult, it's ball-busting, but it is so satisfying to clear, and what it does for the story of Udral cannot be overlooked. It's my personal favorite map in the series, in a game that has some of the best maps in the series already. Except for, 24X. There is no joke, 24X fucking sucks. Thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. Gameplay is something I'm trying to talk more about given that I'm normally a story and character focused channel. Please let me know if I did a good job explaining my opinions in a way that didn't sound stupid. This isn't something I'm entirely used to. Also, please consider following me on social medias. I'm on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, and I have a Discord server. Link to all of them are in the description, and please consider joining my Patreon, where you can help support the channel for as little as $3 a month. My patrons include the likes of Adebayo Thompson, Alex Araliga, Andrew Crockett, Bean Juice, Benz Again, Dr. McBackstab, Hell on Heelys, Ichigo D, Camus, Jaeger Guts, Kenpachi, Shiro Uzumaki, Kirei Yamato, Chartos, Char Ansel, Frederick Series, Bulsara, Hakuman the White Void, Despacito 2, Larmachi, Lysevening Bolt, Marth War Criminal, Morga Lorgan, Plaid Arrow, played is pronounced like the pattern, Ranger Man Sam, Shen Lu, the world's most unironic 8.5 tail stan, Veery the Artist, Walmart Breeder, Yagirl Olwen, Brentendo 11, Drew Hack, Fire Emblem Lord, Ginger, Gugu Gaga, Cornelia Milkers 92, Lev Maverick, Maple Knight, and Upscale Furry Trash. Thank you all for your continued support, and have a Merry Christmas. That's right, this was a Christmas episode the whole time.